is officially time for the best part of every single day. And I have been waiting for this for, we finished the last live stream 24 hours ago. I've been waiting for this about 24 hours. This has been me since then. I said this the other day, just that Dave Chappelle gif, dying to get in these fantasy football drafts. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to go through. We're going to hop in right away. We're going to be hopping into the puppy draft over there on Underdog Fantasy. This is going to be the $5 buy-in where, yes, first place gets paid, second place gets paid, but they set aside a small percentage of every league pot for $75,000 first place if we are talking about that last end of season fantasy football tournament that they have for the playoffs. You have to get first or second in your 12-team league to qualify for that tournament. Here we are going to be drafting at the 107. Thank God. You have no idea how many drafts I've done at the 101, the 102, the 103, the 110, 111, and the 112. Like, I feel like I'm never drafting in the middle, where last year felt like we were very comfortable in the middle of the draft. We were comfortable at pick 6. We were comfortable at pick 7. Well, this year we are a little rusty, even though I will say, I want to flex on everybody here. I have already gotten in over 100 real money fantasy football drafts. Officially 2 days ago, I checked 2 days ago, we were in 100. We are closing in now on 125 because I think I did 6 or 7 at the gym this morning. But let's give a shout out to everybody out in the chat right now, and also the people that were hopping into this draft with us immediately. Oh, we'll probably get another draft going after this one for everybody who was unable to get into the first one. Y'all know we've been doing 3 or 4 of these every single day on the live stream. But Anthony says, opposite for me, I've been getting picks 5, 6, 7, and 8. I will say, I think if you're having to choose one end of the spectrum you want to be on, you probably want to be picking at the ends of the rounds. You probably want to be picking at the 101, the 112, because that's where you can build unique teams. I feel like it's going to be very difficult to build unique teams at the 105, 106, 107, 10. But hell, all I know is I'm winning Best Ball Mania. All I know is I'm winning $2 million this year. And this is why I want to do it. I don't want it for the $2 million. I want to win Best Ball Mania. That way, every single time I have a hater in the comment section telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, which probably is true, I can go back to him and say, hey, I maybe don't know what I'm talking about, but I won $2 million in a fantasy football draft. Respect the name. Put some respect on my name, young fella. So I'm hoping we win one of these tournaments, mainly just for the street cred, if we're going to be honest. Okay, so nothing out of the ordinary here. First 5 picks. Exactly what you come to expect. Stephon Diggs goes at the 106. So we are in. Oh my God. That's why I hate drafting with y'all. Hell, we're going to try something new. Last draft we went through and we had a running back heavy build from the beginning and it was okay. Usually I'm taking Kelsey here, but I need to stop drafting Travis Kelce. Let me grab my phone to see how many of these drafts I have Travis Kelce in, because it's an embarrassing amount. Because whenever I get boxed out of Stephon Diggs or one of those top 5 players, I pretty much just auto pick Kelsey, pass over Eckler, pass over Henry, pass over Najee Harris, and I am sitting with an irresponsible amount of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I have Kelce in 24% of my drafts, and I have Patrick Mahomes in 20%. Like we got to diversify a little bit, so we will go through. We will get Austin Eckler here with the 107. And really quickly, if y'all have not done so already, please make sure you drop a like on the live stream. It helps us out a ton, and it's completely free, guys. Come on. We live stream these drafts every single day. Support the damn channel. Kelce ends up going at the 110 by this name of Fotes. I don't think we've seen Fotes before. I doubt he's a part of the flock. I doubt he's in this live stream. I think the people that are in this live stream are Radius, Castro, Blaze, Fully Loaded, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I definitely recognize those names. Okay, but we are about 3 picks away. Now, if you are familiar to the channel, you knew we were really wanting to get Mark Andrews making it to us. Now, I'm not delusional. I know that our odds of getting Mark Andrews are slim to none. And this is what sucks when we take Eckler here, because I'm looking at this tier going, okay, well, probably just want to take Mike Evans, but there are going to be so many teams that have the combination of Mike Evans and Austin Eckler. It's going to be a very common start as well. But at the same time, even if we reach for an A.J. Brown, even if we reach for a T. Higgins, there will be teams that ended up taking Austin Eckler, the 106, that had T. Higgins or A.J. Brown making it back to him in the third. So we can't take a worse player and then use the excuse, oh, we're creating a unique build. No, you're not creating a unique build at all when you do it, where you have that in your back pocket if you're drafting at the 101, 112, 102, or the 111. Okay. Antonio says Cooper Kupp at 2 is crazy for me. My man. I think Cooper Kupp at 2 is completely fine. Maybe you're not familiar with Underdog Fantasy, and y'all know I have to do this every single live stream. I apologize, but they support the channel, and they are the ones who make this live stream possible. Please, if you have not done so already, if you are not having fun in your life, I don't know what's wrong with you. Fix your life, especially on a Sunday. Or if you're fix your life, go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Get in some real money fantasy football drafts today. I'm closing in on 125 of these bad boys, and it is June 5th. And the reason that I'm addicted to these, the reason why I can't stop, is there's literally nothing more fun on the planet than these drafts on Underdog. And when you sign up and you use promo code FLOCK, they will match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. You will get into drafts with us on the stream. You'll get our rankings. You'll get our dynasty rankings. You'll get our dynasty rookie draft guide. You'll get a crap ton, but most importantly, you'll be able to have a ton of fun in these drafts and draft whenever you want. Okay, so Josh says, is this a puppy draft or best ball mania? This is going to be a puppy draft. Stone Cold Kittle says, I thought you were down on Mike Evans, question mark. Maybe you looked at a thumbnail of the video where I said wide receivers to avoid, and then we talked about touchdown rate not being predictive season to season. But if you watched the video, and if you actually went through and listened to what we said, I said, despite Mike Evans leading the NFL in touchdown rate this past season, still there are so many positives on his profile, and he's done it back-to-back years where it is predictive with Mike Evans based on the overall passing offense he's in, and the fact that he's 6'5", that Mike Evans was a player that you were supposed to be drafting despite what touchdown rate volatility was telling you. So we used them as an example of saying, hey, this statistic is one that we know overvalued players come from, but you cannot just blindly attach it to guys like Mike Evans who it doesn't apply for. Okay, so we're going to take Keenan Allen, going through, I guess, building around the Los Angeles Chargers here. Obviously, when you take Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen, our plans to get Justin Herbert in the 4th. And I'm not jumping up and down to get Justin Herbert in the 4th round. I am fine taking Patrick Mahomes in the 4th. I'm fine taking Lamar Jackson in the 5th. Love me some Lamar Jackson in the 5th. And I have a feeling maybe this draft is not that exciting, at least not for me, but I titled this live stream an exciting fantasy football draft. So that probably means that we just have to get another one going after this one. And the next one is going to be exciting. The next one, maybe we have Mark Andrews making it to us in the 2nd, even though I know some people would really like the start that we've had. Dog coming out says, my most drafted players are Mike Williams and DK Metcalf. Oh, it's hard for me to get behind Mike Williams. I know Mike Williams was I think he was the wide receiver 2, only behind Cooper Kupp through the first 5 weeks this past season. Like Mike Williams, remember, he looked like he was taking over as the alpha. He looked like he was going to be dominant in Los Angeles and be a true league winner. Then he faded down the stretch. If you go back to what he was in 2021, in 2020, I'm hesitant to draft Mike Williams at his ADP, like when he's going at the beginning of the 3rd round. I personally, even though it's a best ball format, I know best ball will favor the volatility and the average depth of target of a wide receiver like Mike Williams. I have a very difficult time taking someone like Mike Williams over Keenan Allen on that same offense. When Keenan Allen's averaged a top 10 finish over the past 3 seasons, Mike Williams has averaged, off the top of my head, about the wide receiver like 33 finish. I can pull that up. I actually just wrote the Mike Williams chapter in our draft guide not too long ago. Okay. I was going to say, do we just take Darren Waller if he falls to us? I don't think we can. I don't think we can make an excuse for passing on Justin Herbert here. We know there's a 0% chance that Justin Herbert would come back around in the 5th. And if this team's going to be good, which we want this team to be good, you need to make sure the Los Angeles Chargers are a top 3 offense overall. If you're going to have Eckler, if you're going to have Keenan Allen, return value on where they're being drafted, specifically where we drafted them in this one. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to take Justin Herbert at the 406. This is a start that's very common from a lot of people. I don't want to act like, oh yeah, we're so smart. We have a double stack with the Los Angeles Chargers. Nope. We're not so smart. We have a double stack with the Los Angeles Chargers. Everybody has a double stack with the Los Angeles Chargers. Connor says, how do you feel about Alvin Kamara with the possible suspension? I am not personally thinking a high chance Alvin Kamara misses 6 games or whatever. I mean, if you're looking at what the NFL historically does, the NFL wants their players that make the money, that draw ratings out there on the field. I feel like this story with Alvin Kamara is not getting obviously nearly as much attention as something like the Deshaun Watson incident. I'm personally going to maybe use that against Alvin Kamara, like as a tiebreaker. Like if we're looking at Alvin Kamara versus DeAndre Swift, and you're like, okay, these running backs are so similar for me based on these 5 different metrics and projections for this upcoming season. Then in the back of our minds, we can go, okay, well, there is this outside risk with Kamara. Then you can use it as a tiebreaker, but I personally don't think we need to be taking it into account too much. Okay. Nick says, love the streams, Mason. Got into the Dynasty one the other day. Yeah, if y'all did not know, we have the largest Dynasty Fantasy Football YouTube channel. A Dynasty Fantasy Football YouTube channel had more views than any other YouTube channel in May. That was fantasy football, of course. Of course, it's not like we're beating Mr. Beast out here. But Darren Waller at the 412, love that value with Darren Waller. Going to be very interested to follow this 101 team. Drafting at the 101 is very difficult in that when you take Taylor, you really want to be able to grab a wide receiver at the 2-3 turn, but like, what are you supposed to do? Are you really supposed to draft Mike Williams and Keenan Allen over Aaron Jones and Saquon Barkley? Like, that's a very difficult thing to pull the trigger on. So I completely understand. I mean, in a draft yesterday that we did, we started off 3 running backs in a row. Even though it makes a very awkward start, you almost kind of have to do it. So now pulling this up, if Lamar Jackson is going to be staring at us in the face, I am going to lose my mind. Lamar Jackson in the 5th, I think, is better value than what you're getting with Justin Herbert in the 4th. But oh my gosh, ecstatic to see. Oh, Andrew take Joe Burrow here. They take Joe Burrow to get the double stack with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. This is why people don't like stacks, because when you're stacking like we did, where we took Justin Herbert at his ADP, you're looking to get those stacks at ADP or behind. That way, if you hit on them, now we get our guy freaking George Kittle gone. But if you hit on that stack, you know what? I'm not going to do it. You all of a sudden profit on Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow. But when you're taking Joe Burrow a full round ahead of his ADP, when you're passing on George Kittle for Joe Burrow, when you're passing on Chris Godwin, when you're passing on Travis Etienne, you're ruining all the upside. And just think about it. So if the Cincinnati Bengals turn into the top passing offense in the NFL this season, which is possible, and all of a sudden the T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow combination is what you need to be elite in the tournament at the very end to win that $75,000 off a $5 buy-in, all of a sudden you're going to be going up against other teams in that tournament that were able to get Joe Burrow in the 6th. I've seen Joe Burrow in the 7th. So you will have the same combination of players as those other teams, but they'll outgun you. When you have Dallas Goedert at tight end, they're going to have George Kittle. And what are you supposed to do about that? So please, yes, target stacks, but do not go out of your way. And when Joe Burrow usually goes at the end of the 6th round, don't be taking him at pick 53. You're ruining the entire reason you're taking the stack to go through and try to get that upside. Now, Jacobs goes at the 512. Josh Jacobs is one reason why I decided to go Chris Godwin at the 507. Josh Jacobs is a player that I'm trying to get more of because you're consistently seeing Jacobs go at the 5-6 turn. I'm getting Jacobs on some 0 running back builds in the middle of the 6th round, and I'm going, okay, you have to assume that he is going to have an elite advance rate if you're getting him in the middle of the 6th round. And very similar here, you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire going at the 603. Now, the reason this team takes Clyde Edwards-Helaire here is they went out of their way, took Kelsey in the 1st, Mahomes in the 3rd, and they get CEH. Like, CEH in a lot of these drafts is making it back to you at pick 82. So very similar. Here, yes, you're going through and you're building around that one offense. You're getting the correlation in your starting lineup, specifically for the very end of the season in that playoff tournament. But you're sacrificing a lot of upside when you're reaching 20 picks to get those players. And other guys in that tournament are going to have the same combination just at a cheaper price. Okay, so now let's figure out what we're going to do. Should we just bite the bullet, take Antonio Gibson? The players that we'll be looking at on the way back around. No, we have Eckler. We have a running back. Okay, we're going to build around an anchor RB. I, for a second, was thinking that we've gone 0 running back up into this point, but no, we grabbed Eckler in the 1st. That's going to allow us to pass on Antonio Gibson in the middle of the 6th round. I'll admit Antonio Gibson is becoming an appealing option. But if I'm looking at Drake London as a wide receiver that checks every single box, I'm actually starting to like this draft. I thought we were going to get boxed out of the running back position, and I honestly completely forgot that we took Austin Eckler in the first round as well. And it's because I'm closing in on 125 drafts, and I am never taking Eckler. I'm never taking Derrick Henry. Unless they fall to like the 111, 112, there, yes, I'm taking them. But I've been taking Stephon Diggs and Drake London so often over them. Jalen Hurts at pick 69, fantastic value with Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts does possess a ceiling that very few quarterbacks can come close to. And he literally had 6 games with 200 passing yards last year. And the man was a top 5 quarterback. Think about that. And now instead of having to throw the ball and have Jalen Reagor out there running routes, who is, I don't want to say the lowest wide receiver in yards per route run last year, but pretty damn close. You're going to have A.J. Brown coming in. You have Devontae Smith going into year 2 as well. I'd love me some Jalen Hurts. Like, I honestly prefer Jalen Hurts over Joe Burrow this upcoming season if it's a 4-point passing touchdown format. I don't even think it's that close. Now, I will say, if you're playing in a 6-point passing touchdown league, there you can make the argument for the passing volume favoring Joe Burrow. But, like, if we're looking at the price tag of both of these players in this draft in particular, oh, dear God, you cannot be taking Joe Burrow here. And I'm sure that Andrew FF knows that. I'm sure that he is looking at what he did now and going, oh, okay, yeah, I probably regret it. I probably wish I could go back in a time machine and pass on Burrow and instead grab George Kittle. Like, unless maybe, let me know in the chat, do y'all prefer Dalton Schultz over Kittle? If y'all prefer Dalton Schultz over Kittle, maybe I'm just an idiot. Okay. So we are about to be up on the clock. We've had a little bit of a wide receiver run happening. Not a surprise. I don't want to act like, oh, we're so smart. We took Drake London before the wide receiver run. No, of course, wide receiver run was going to happen. That's just the ADP in this range. Okay, so I'm probably going to go, and I don't want to say reach on a player, but I am going to get TJ Hawkinson here because I think TJ Hawkinson does give us the ability to build around 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, 6 running backs, and 8 wide receivers. So we are reaching on Hawkinson a little bit, but I think for a roster construction standpoint, it makes sense. And it looks like this tight end room is valuing tight ends a little bit more than we would see elsewhere. If you look at the draft pick of Kelsey going before ADP, Mark Andrews going before ADP, Dalton Schultz going significantly before ADP. So yeah, I will take TJ Hawkinson here. And a lot of these players that we're going to see on the way back around in the 8th are in the same tier for me. Okay, so Miles Sanders goes at the 7-11. Christian Kirk at pick 84. I don't even know what we want to make it back to us. I feel like we just have such a balanced team. Nick says, I think Hawkinson outperforms his ADP this year. I mean, he's being drafted as what? The tight end 7 in fantasy. And he's been a mid tight end 1 over the past 2 seasons on a per game basis. And the man's now going into his last year of his rookie deal. He was drafted in 2019. I'd imagine actually they probably picked up the 5th year option on him, didn't they? So I guess he's going into the 2nd to last year of his rookie contract. But for a tight end, you're not expecting really production during their rookie contract. Okay, so Radius on the clock. Let's see what they decide to do. Interesting to see what has taken place in this draft room. And A.J. Dillon goes right before us. We are going to take Dak. Because if we're looking at the running backs in this range, I feel like the opportunity cost isn't there to pass on these guys. I've been trying to get 2 quarterbacks inside the top 100 picks in the majority of these drafts. A different strategy than what I had last year. Last year, the teams that made us money were the teams where we did go out there and we grabbed 2, I don't want to say elite options, like you don't necessarily need Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, but when we grabbed 2 quarterbacks that had access to a top 3 finish on a week-to-week basis. Like, I think my issue last season was I was going through and drafting too many teams with like 3 QBs and going, okay, we'll take Trevor Lawrence, we'll take Tua Tagovailoa, and we'll take Jared Goff. And through all 3 of them, we'll be able to get a quarterback 1 finish on a week-to-week basis, which is true. But if one finishes as the quarterback 10 that week, the other's the quarterback 17, the other's the quarterback 28, at the end of the day, you're getting the quarterback 10 finish. Whereas if you draft 2 of these quarterbacks inside the top 100, you're getting a top 5 finish almost every single week. Okay. Steven says, Mason, time for my draft count. Okay. Y'all know I was out here saying that this was me trying to get into drafts every single day. Steven says, Mason, time for my draft count. 529 completed drafts plus 13 8-hour drafts going in the puppy. Okay, yeah, if y'all don't know, with these drafts on Underdog, you don't have to do them fast drafts, live drafts like we do where there's a 30-second timer. You can enter into slow drafts that have 8-hour timers. I personally prefer the fast drafts. I think those 8-hour timers usually have better drafters in them, if I'm going to be honest. But dear God, my man, you got a problem. I will say that. 529 drafts, you have to stop. At what point do you stop? That's the serious question. I have like 125, and I feel like the only thing I ever do is draft these teams. Okay, so let's pull this up. Damian Harris goes to the 902, so it looks like maybe we are not even going to grab a running back here at pick 103. Interesting. Obviously, we're going to be looking for some Dallas players a little bit later on. We're going to be looking for Gallup. We're going to be looking at Jalen Tolbert. I don't love either of their ADPs. We don't have the shot to get Dalton Schultz. Dawson Knox goes at pick 99. Was this the team with Allen? No, this team did not have Josh Allen. Interesting to see that they take Dawson Knox over Dallas Goedert. Very rarely are you seeing that. Robert Woods goes at pick 101. Devin Singletary, pick 102. I'm not a massive fan of Allen Lazard. I actually just recorded a video. It's not going to come out for a while, though. I had to record a ton of videos for the week that I'm moving. But I think going through and looking at quarterbacks that are almost guaranteed to finish in the top 10 of adjusted yards per pass attempt, if we can find a quarterback that is almost guaranteed to have an adjusted yards per pass attempt at 8 or higher, and just taking their pass catchers, if you have done that over the past 5 years, you have profited massively. Now, I will say, I don't understand the ADP gap between Allen Lazard and Christian Watson. If you're looking at the difference in their ADP, Allen Lazard goes a round and a half ahead of Christian Watson every single time. Now, personally, I think if we're talking about those price points, I easily prefer Christian Watson. But the thing is, if I'm going to draft like 300 of these teams this offseason, I do have to be at least aware of the ADP and saying, okay, well, when they're both available to me, if I'm going to take one of them, I probably have to take Allen Lazard because we're going to be in so many other drafts where Christian Watson just falls in our lap. Okay, so MVS, Chase Claypool, Kadarius Toney are the next wide receivers off the board. Derek Carr ended up going at pick 104. Obviously, we want to see those quarterbacks off the board whenever we already have Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert. Okay, so let's pull this up. Christian Watson still available. Tyler Boyd, McCole Hardman. Okay, so Fotes goes through and he brings on his, fourth Kansas City Chief? I understand. You already have the double stack, though. You already have the double stack with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Travis Kelce. I feel like you have to have enough one-offs once you get to that tournament at the very end of the season. Like, I feel like Christian Watson's the easy selection here over McCole Hardman. Okay, so Goody Sons on the clock. Are they on auto? I think they may be on auto. They go with Christian Watson. Gronk goes here. Okay, so it comes down to James Cook, Chase Edmonds for us. Spam the chat. Do you want James Cook or Chase Edmonds? Spam it. I'm fine with either. I think our team construction so far doesn't play any role into it. Just the first name I'm looking at. I see someone saying Ramondre Stevenson. We're not taking Ramondre Stevenson, but please let me know between these two running backs who y'all would prefer. Okay. Looks like most people are saying Chase Edmonds. So we'll go ahead and we will take Chase Edmonds, pick 114. And I'm fine with Chase Edmonds as a running back here. I know the running back room looks crowded in Miami. I mean, this is a team that brings in Raheem Mostert. They bring in Sony Michel. They bring in Chase Edmonds. They already have Myles Gaskin there. But you have to keep in mind, Chase Edmonds is getting paid more than almost every single one of those other running backs combined. And on top of this, they're not going to go into the season with every single one of those players on their roster. I would imagine that they either move on from one of Sony Michel, Raheem Mostert, or Myles Gaskin. We are unsure which one going into the year. Probably Myles Gaskin if we had to make a bet. But Edmonds will be the lead running back here. He is a great pass catcher. The issue is the offensive line. And also, we've never seen him handle a 3-down workload for a long stretch. We've seen him have a 3-down workload in specific weeks. I think he does have the upside. But we're fine with him at the 10:06. Okay. And real quick, it looks like we have like 220 people out here. So please, every single draft, we say if we get to 150 drafts on the live stream, we will go ahead and we will get a second one going. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, smash that like. Let's get to 150 likes and we'll get another draft going after this. Okay, so we have some more running backs off the board with James Cook, Alexander Madison, Rashad Penny. I don't think we can be too upset. I mean, Rashad Penny is a name that I never see go out as ADP. Like, honestly, this feels early for Rashad Penny for me. Now, I will say, if you look at his ADP, it's like 117. I don't know if it's just the drafts that I'm in, that Rashad Penny always, for whatever reason, is sliding until the middle to the end of the 11th round, where I'm sitting at pick 129. I'm like, okay, I don't love Rashad Penny this season, but he's 12, 13 picks behind his ADP. I need a running back. Do I just have to take him? Okay. So Damian says, I'm trying to draft with you, bro. Okay, well, my man, we are drafting every single day on Underdog. Literally, just go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK when you sign up. They'll match your deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. And we do these drafts every single day. Every single day, and we will until the beginning of the season. Okay, so now we cannot take a quarterback. So these are the players that we are going to be looking at with this upcoming selection. Now, none of these guys really stand out to build any stacks for us. So it does just come down to who's the best player available, who is the value that we are going to be looking for. Let me remind everyone where we stand. We have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin at wide receiver. We were trying to set up the double stack with Tom Brady at a value later on, but someone reached on Tom Brady, so he didn't make it back to us. It's whatever. And then we have Keenan Allen, Drake London, Alan Lazard as well, filling out our wide receiver room. And then at running back, we have the combination of Austin Eckler, Chase Edmonds. At tight end, we have TJ Hawkinson. Quarterback, we have Justin Herbert and Dak Prescott. Let's go ahead and take Rondell Moore here. I think there's a strong argument to be made to go with Tim Patrick. I actually really like Patrick this season and KJ Hamler. I think that people are looking at the target share that both Tyler Lockett as well as DK Metcalf had in Seattle, and they are trying to just go, okay, one for one, let's project Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton to be dominant in Denver because Russell Wilson only throws to two options. I think that's crazy. If you look at the talent of Tim Patrick and KJ Hamler as wide receiver 3 and wide receiver 4 on the Denver Broncos offense, they are significantly better than anything that you saw with Seattle pretty much throughout the entire tenure of Russell Wilson. If we're looking at his wide receiver 3 and wide receiver 4, I think the targets will be distributed a little bit more than they were in Seattle between those third and fourth wide receivers, which is why I haven't been drafting like those Denver Broncos starters like Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, y'all know Courtland Sutton. I'm not really drafting those guys. Like I'm taking a lot of Melvin Gordon. I'm taking a lot of Tim Patrick. I'm taking a lot of KJ Hamler. That's honestly about it. Okay. So let's pull this up. Like I said, we cannot go quarterback. So these are the options that we will be evaluating. Jalen Tolbert, I honestly don't think we can take Tolbert here. He will be in play. What we are hoping for is we get Jalen Tolbert making it back to us at pick 151. Okay, so Goody Sons, is this the auto draft team? Yeah, it looks like they've been on auto every single... I guess actually they took Tony Pollard at pick 88, ADP of 90. So maybe they didn't auto Pollard. Yeah, we're going to have an easy pick here. We are going to go Ronald Jones. Whenever we build around that anchor running back, when we're trying to build through depth at the position, what we are looking for is we are looking for running backs that should have a week-to-week role and upside for more if an injury were to occur in their offense. I think Ronald Jones does fit that mold in Kansas City when there's just going to be a ton of red zone opportunities for this overall offense. Nick says, Mason, do you ever do the special bets on underdog offers? Yeah, I mean, I very rarely ever make prop bets. Now, I will make them for the NFL because I think it's fun. But if we're looking at those NBA prop bets, the only time I do them on underdog if it's a special line. So, like, if you pull up your underdog app right now, like, you'll see they have drafts and they have prop bets. We mainly just do the drafts. But, like, once a week, they'll do a promo. And even if you've done the promo the week before, you're able to do it every single week. So I do it, but it will be like a special line. So the special line tonight is Steph Curry at half a 3-pointer, but of course they max your bet. You can only bet $25 because if you could go through a bet 10,000, underdog would be broke. They'd be broke that day. They know they're probably going to lose the bet, but they're just doing it to get people to sign up. So I actually post, usually when they do it, I'll make a post or something on our local saying, hey, just a reminder, take advantage of this. But yeah, I definitely take advantage of it. I mean, it's free money. It's like free money you can use to get in more drafts. Okay, so DJ Chark at the 1301. But I will say, someone in the chat came out a couple days ago and said on the player props on Underdog, they were betting some WNBA lines with players they've never heard of. For the love of God, don't go on that player prop page and just throw your money away. Do not just bet on some games that you've never seen, players you've never heard of. Like, be smart about it. Be smart about it, please. Also, look for those special lines. It's just them handing out free money. Okay, so let's look at this next one. D Stone on the clock, 5 running backs. So I'm imagining they're done drafting running back. But yeah, no, never mind. We got in a draft with a crazy person. They take Tyrion Davis-Price, pick 148. They took James Robinson, pick 141. Yeah, this team just doesn't know what they're doing. They have 6 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end. I will say they got a great value on Jalen Hurts. They got a great value on Dallas Goedert as well. Okay. I guess maybe this is another Michael Carter draft. Y'all know I draft Michael Carter in almost every single one of these. Almost every single one. Like, getting him in the middle of the 13th round, he will have a receiving role at the beginning of the season. He will be a premium handcuff running back once Breece Hall takes over. Breece Hall will be the bell cow. I was screaming that Michael Carter Jr. was one of the most overdrafted players in fantasy after the NFL draft, when people on Underdog were still taking him over Alexander Mattison. He was going neck and neck with Tony Pollard, which was crazy. Crazy. But now you see Tony Pollard going at the 804 and us getting Michael Carter Jr. at pick 151. I'm all about this value. Now, David Njoku goes at the 1308. I feel like we probably have to end up taking 3 tight ends now, which does suck. It's the entire reason we decided to go TJ Hawkinson is so we could only take 2. But it is what it is. I felt like the tight end value wasn't necessarily here. We punted running back, so we had to go through and build around an RB. Now, the question is, do we draft 5 running backs, 8 wide receivers, 3 tight ends? Or do we draft 6 running backs, 7 wide receivers, 3 tight ends? I think we can honestly do either. I would rather just kind of wait and see how the draft board falls to us. Let me show off this entire draft board for people just now coming in. And if you are just now coming in, please make sure you go down there, drop a like in the live stream. If we hit 150 likes in this live stream, we'll get another draft going after this one. So we were at the 107, took Eckler, Evans, Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert, Godwin, Drake London, Hawkinson at the 707. I mean, if we could go back in a time machine, probably still take Hawkinson, even if we're ending up taking 3 of these guys. What we really wanted to see is we wanted to see Tom Brady making it to us at pick 79 when we had both Godwin and Mike Evans. But I'm not going to reach on Tom Brady in the 6th, way ahead of his ADP, and just lose out any upside that the stack could have brought us. Okay, so now let's pivot this back over. Okay, is this... Yeah, he goes Nyheim Hines. I was going to say, it looks like we're getting Nyheim Hines with our next pick. We probably want Everett, but I'm not going to take Everett here. Definitely not taking Everett here. I'll take him with our next pick. Radius has 3 tight ends. Okay, he waited on Gronk, Tanyan, and David Njoku. I think it's fine taking 3 tight ends if you waited that long. Nick says, what picks did you do for Steph Curry tonight? I think I'll show the picks after we do this. What do we want to do here? We have 4 running backs. We are going to take Corey Davis. As when we take Corey Davis, I feel like we give ourselves an outside chance to stop at 7 wide receivers and not need 8. When we have Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Drake London, Allen Lazard, Rondale Moore, Corey Davis. We probably still end up going 8. I feel like we probably still need 6 RBs. But we'll just see where the value falls. I don't love the idea of taking Tyler Algier, who goes directly after us at 163. Okay, so Caden says, are you doing another draft after this? Yes, sir. Like I said, 150 likes in live stream. We'll get another draft going after this one. Okay, so Kenneth Gainwell goes to the 1408. This point, what we want is we want tight ends falling. I'd imagine it happens. Okay, D-Stone literally is... D-Stone just punted their money. They just have donated to the league pot. The most amount of running backs that you can draft an underdog is really going to be 7. I wouldn't even advise someone to draft 7 unless you are drafting in either the big dog draft that has 20 rounds, or if you're drafting in a private draft, like with your friends, or just in a private draft in the public lobby where you don't have the tournament at the end. Sure, you could take 7 RBs, but here in a tournament setting like this, you cannot take 7 running backs. It's very, very bad. And here they take Nick Chubb, David Montgomery, Cordell Patterson, Alexander Madison, James Robinson, Jerry Davis Price, Marlon Mack. Like, take the Marlon Mack here in the 14th. I feel like that is just brutal. Okay. So Zach Wilson ends up going at the 14-12. Good for us. Good for us. Get these quarterbacks off the board. I don't even know what we are going to do. Okay, Marvin Jones goes to the 15-02. I love me some Robbie Anderson, if I'm going to be honest. Okay, so one thing that you have to notice, like, this is why I wouldn't recommend, I know some people get in like 3 drafts at a time. I always cap myself out at 2 because you do have to notice these small nuances. Like, we see Goody Sons here is on auto draft, right? So if you didn't notice that he was on auto draft and he was just going highest ranked player according to ADP, what we could end up doing here is when we got a pick 175, we could say, you know what, let's pass on tight end. Let's grab a wide receiver, and then we'll get a tight end making it back to us. Because we pull up his team and we look at all the teams in this range, we can say, okay, Radius has 3 tight ends. He's done. Goody Sons has Mark Andrews, Pat Frymuth. He should be done as well. But we have to remember, he's on auto draft. He's punting his money into the league pot. He's just donating it for us, apparently. So since he's on auto draft, he's not stopping at those 2 tight ends. If Tyler Higbee is at the top of ADP, his team will take Tyler Higbee. So if we want Higbee, we have to take him here. He isn't going to fall. This team only has 1 quarterback. I'd imagine they end up going QB. They have 6 RBs, right? They go Robbie Anderson. They go Robbie. So I think we are just going to end up going tight end. I think in the past we would have just gone, we have Justin Herbert. Let's get Gerald Everett. Let's go through and get the triple stack. No, I think at some point there are diminishing returns on continuing to stack one offense on the same team and really hurting the true upside that you have in week 17. I think you should build around a team. You should build around a game, and you should have enough one-offs to be able to get there. So we aren't going to take Gerald Everett. We will just go ahead and get the value with Tyler Higbee. What's exciting is Goody Sons, if they're on auto, like we expect them to be, maybe they come back into this draft, they are going to end up taking Matt Ryan, which will be nice. That will be their 3rd quarterback. So if they end up maybe auto drafting a quarterback here and then at pick 184, yeah, they get Matt Ryan. I don't know if that was an auto or they actually logged in to do it. But if they end up auto drafting another quarterback at 184, then we are just going to continue to get value to fall to us. And then the teams left over on this side of the draft are not going to have access to those Jared Goff level quarterbacks. So you are going to get a little bit of an effect of these guys getting pushed up where Davis Mills can potentially be off the board by the time we get back up with our 17th pick, just driving down running back and wide receiver value for us. Okay. So Daniel Jones is up. What we are hoping for is we are hoping that these teams pass on Daniel Jones and that you end up seeing Goody Sons auto draft him as a 4th and messing up this entire thing for everyone. Not for us. We have our 2 quarterbacks. We already have our Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert, so we're good. Fotes probably goes Daniel Jones. I mean, they only have Mahomes. No, they go Donta Foreman. I don't think they're noticing what's going on here. Yeah, because there were some other teams on the other side of the draft that only have 1 QB. So if Goody Sons does auto draft Daniel Jones, those teams are going to have to reach on Mac Jones, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz. They're going to have to fight over those guys because that will be his 4th quarterback, soaking up really all the supply. Radius, and we're probably going to end up taking, okay, no, never mind. He's not on auto draft. He comes in with Odell Beckham Jr. We're probably going to end up taking Gerald Everett. With Gerald Everett, fell 15 picks behind ADP. We're probably going to need 3 guys. Like I said, we're not reaching on these stacks, but if it falls with our roster construction, hell, I'm fine getting it. We're not reaching, like taking Joe Burrow 20 picks before his ADP, but I'm fine taking Gerald Everett 15 picks behind his ADP, bringing him in here. Radius can't take a 4th tight end, so we're pretty much locked into Everett. There you go, Justin Ross. Let's get Gerald Everett coming in as our 3rd tight end. Let me know what y'all think we should be doing. Like, I am uncomfortable at this point. I know some people would say with the anchor running back strategy that you can stop at 5 of these guys. But I mean, we waited until after pick 100 to bring our second running back in here. So I feel like we do have to draft 7 of them. So we have Austin Eckler, Chase Edmonds, Ronald Jones, and Michael Carter at running back. At wide receiver, we have Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Drake London, Alan Lazard, Rondell Moore, Corey Davis. Tight end, we have Hawkinson, Tyler Higbee, Gerald Everett. And then at quarterback, we have Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert. Overall, I think actually it went from a team that I wasn't too crazy about to now I'm pretty excited with how this went. I think this is a pretty fun roster overall. Mac Jones goes to the 1609. Selfishly, obviously, we want these QBs to go off the board. And Walter says there have been 1,000 puppy entries between the start of this draft and now. That is, did y'all hear that? That is how popular Underdog Fantasy is now. Since the time we entered this draft, there have been 1,000 other entries kicked off here. That is ridiculous. That's how they're able to take a small percentage of every league pot and go and create that massive tournament at the very end. Obviously, we're trying to win our 12-team league, but we also want upside for that tournament at the end of the season. Great for us. The last 5 picks have been perfect. Getting quarterbacks, tight ends off the board when we are looking for running backs and wide receivers to fall to us. Okay, so AJ Green at the 1702. Dog says, I feel like Sutton has been getting too much hype. Saw him go at the 301 in a puppy draft, and he's been going at the beginning of the 4th. Yes, I've been seeing the same thing, and I'm going to continue my stance. And I know everybody wants to call me an idiot. Everybody wants to call me a fool. But I am going to draw my line in the sand, and I'm going to say, this is crazy. People have lost their minds with Courtland Sutton. His highest finish ever on a points per game basis. The man's about to be 27. I mean, maybe he's already 27. His highest finish ever is wide receiver 25. A high-end wide receiver 3. If you look at the splits with and without Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy is the alpha wide receiver 1 in this offense. He was last year. Jerry Jeudy was the alpha wide receiver 1 in this offense last year at 22 years old. Jerry Jeudy's younger than Kenny Pickett. You think Jerry Jeudy's going to get worse? Think Courtland Sutton's going to get better at 27? Freaking crazy. Freaking crazy. Clutch Cow says, still need 12 more likes for another draft. Please, guys, go down there, smash that like if y'all want to get another draft going after this one. And, of course, these drafts will be on Underdog Fantasy. Go to the link in the description. Have some fun. Like, literally, this is the most fun thing you could ever do in your entire life. Have some fun. Go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK. When you use promo code FLOCK, not only will you have a ton of fun in these drafts, but you will also be able to get our 2022 rankings, our Dynasty rankings, our Dynasty Rookie Draft Guide, literally with a $10 deposit. It costs you $10. All that stuff, if you just bought it through our website, costs $50. But if you sign up for Underdog with $10, it's free to you. And on top of that, they match your deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. So it's essentially free, period. Okay. Now, I feel like we need another running back. Let me know if I have lost my mind, because it is entirely possible that I just don't know what I'm doing here. It is entirely possible that I have continued to draft Samaje Perine over and over and over again, and he doesn't have the role at the end of the year. I see someone coming in and says Chris Evans, and Chris Evans does have a higher ADP. What makes Chris Evans a better play? Seriously, serious question. What makes Chris Evans the better play over Samaje Perine? I would love to know. I would love to know what I'm missing. But real quick, we are going to hop into another draft. I am going to hope and pray that I do not have to draft against any of y'all. And let me give a shout out on Underdog. They have filled 50. They have almost 65,000 entries in this. They launched this like 2 weeks ago. This is the $5 league where first place gets paid, second place gets paid, but then you have the crazy prizes for the tournament at the end of the season. So let's go ahead. Let's jump in here. Let's hope that we are not with anybody from the flock. It's filled right away. I'd imagine some people from the flock jumped in. I'll recognize some of these names. Let's see. Actually, Common Sense, I know. Pop-Tart, I think we know as well. Binico, I think we know. Outside of, I don't feel like not too many people part of the flock are in this draft. Okay, so GA says Chris Evans takes over for Mixon if he's hurt. Yeah, please let me know why y'all think it's Evans. Let me know why y'all think it's Chris Evans and not Samaje Perine. Damian says he got in the draft and he is 4th. Okay, so we are going to be going up against Damian. Knows 1 of 1. Good thing he's on the other side of the draft room at the 4th pick, so probably can't piss us off too much. Bobby says he's at the 103. Garrett says he's at the 109. Okay, so looks like we're in the draft with a couple of different people. I mean, we already knew some of the other names in here with us, and maybe this is halfway filled by people of the flock. Like I said, it's so much easier to draft against random people in the lobby rather than y'all. Like, I truly appreciate all the support y'all show this channel by coming out to these live streams. I truly appreciate it. But, oh, dear God. I feel like our ROI would be a lot higher if we just did the drafts off the stream. But you'd have to keep in mind it's our business. We got to do these live streams. Santiago says the 11 and 12 are my favorite spots for sure. Yeah, I like 11 and I like 12 as well because, I mean, I think the natural breaks that you're seeing in tiers, like the 3-4 turn, in my opinion, is very similar to what you were having in the middle of the 3rd round. However, in the middle of the 4th, I feel like you already have that drop off that's not there at the beginning of the 4th. Okay. So Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson go off the board. And no surprise, I guess maybe actually now we see a surprise with Jamar Chase going over CMC. Christian McCaffrey going to make it all the way down to the 5th pick in this draft. Oh, dear God. CMC going at pick 5. I will say, if we are just looking at a private draft, right? You're not entering into one of these massive tournaments. I would probably agree with you. I'm probably going to go Justin Jefferson. I'm probably going to go Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, all over Christian McCaffrey. It's just a lot more difficult whenever we are looking at that CMC team and we're saying, okay, well, if Christian McCaffrey hits, if Christian McCaffrey stays healthy, not too many people possess the same level of upside that he does. So it's tough. It is tough. Okay, we're about to be on the clock at the 11th pick. Adams goes. So we're going to take Najee Harris. Very rarely am I taking Najee Harris, but very rarely is he making it a pick 11. And also, I liked drafting one running back at the beginning in last draft and then being able to build around wide receiver in the other positions in the middle rounds and not feel like we are completely boxed out. Okay, CeeDee Lamb goes at pick 12. What I am hoping for is I'm hoping for Mark Andrews to fall to us. If he doesn't, I'll be fine taking Dalvin Cook, saying, okay, both these running backs usually go in round 1, and it'll be a unique combination. But that doesn't happen. So instead, we are going to go Mark Andrews. I like this. So we're going to go with that anchor running back build. We're most likely going to draft around 5 running backs, depending on the value that makes it to us. Like if we end up looking at Josh Jacobs at the beginning of the 6th, probably going to go Josh Jacobs there over some of the wide receivers. And if we get a second running back in that range, then we're going to be able to build around 2, 5, 9, 2, depending on where our quarterbacks fall. But this is exciting. We titled the live stream an exciting 2022 fantasy football draft. This is the one. Hopefully people stayed to see the second draft because I think we are going to have a fun time here. Okay, Nick says, I got Najee Harris at pick 17 a few days ago. Pick 17? How? I can't even imagine all the names that went before Najee Harris. Najee Harris was going at pick 17 last year before he proved that he is going to be an every down player and be close to probably, actually, he would be the number 1 player if you're looking at a snap rate this upcoming season. I was going to say close to Christian McCaffrey historically, like CMC in 2019 was freaking ridiculous, but CMC is not going to have that same snap rate this upcoming season when he's, 3 years older, coming off of 4 significant injuries. Yeah, that is crazy. Anthony says he has the 101 as well. Okay, so we're going up against a ton of people in this draft here. And let's see, T. Higgins at the 209. Okay, so we can see Damian building around that Cincinnati offense. I wonder if they go Josh Allen in the 3rd to try to get that week 17 game stack. I think in the puppy drafts where the field is a little bit smaller than Best Ball Mania, I think that week 17 game stack's not going to matter as much. Personally, I really haven't been thinking about it, and maybe that's a fault of mine. Keenan Allen goes at the 301. Okay, we got Keenan Allen at the 307 in the last draft. Javonte Williams goes at the 302. But this is what I was saying here. If you're drafting at the 101, you are put in such an awkward spot. Like, I think I'm honestly going to start taking wide receivers early, because getting like Alvin Kamara at the 303, like having to take Keenan Allen over Alvin Kamara just feels brutal. So I feel like it would be a much more exciting start. Like, say you go Cooper Kupp at the 101, and then you end up coming away with Cooper Kupp, Nick Chubb, Alvin Kamara. Like, that start of 3, honestly, maybe sounds better than Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Keenan Allen. Like, is there a larger gap between Jonathan Taylor and Alvin Kamara, or Cooper Kupp and Keenan Allen? Probably Cooper Kupp and Keenan Allen, if we're going to be honest. Okay, so Josh Allen at the 305. Okay, so common sense going through, has not drafted a wide receiver through the first 3 rounds. We're right there in that same boat through 2 rounds. And we're probably going to end up double tapping the receiver position at the 3-4 turn. So the issue is, usually I'm taking Patrick Mahomes at the beginning of the 4th whenever we have Kelsey, but we don't have Kelsey here. So we are just going to have to sit on our hands. Bobby says he couldn't pass up on Alvin Kamara. My man, I completely agree with you. I think if you're getting Alvin Kamara at pick 27, like Alvin Kamara has not gone that late in a fantasy football draft, literally since 2017, since his rookie season. That is absolutely ridiculous. Anthony says, I've been shying away from Kamara big time. Okay, let's pull this up. And Michael Pittman Jr., ADP of 31. Do we end up having to take him? What I'm hoping for is I'm hoping Mike goes Michael Pittman Jr., so I don't even have to think about it. I'd rather not have that decision, and instead we should have a much easier call of going with Hollywood Brown here. There's a reason I'm going with Hollywood, in that if I'm picking at this turn and we know that we have set ourselves up with a stack, say we took CeeDee Lamb at the 1-2 turn, we took Travis Kelce, and we're going to get Patrick Mahomes, where we know that we are going to have that stack, then I'm going to be willing on passing on Hollywood for one of those wide receivers like Deontay Johnson or DJ Moore that have the overall target volume guaranteed, but we don't want one of those quarterbacks later on. However, we don't know if we're going to get Lamar Jackson making it to us in the 5th. So here, taking Hollywood Brown just does give us the outside chance. We're going to go crazy. We're going crazy. We're going to go with the bully tight end strategy, but taking Hollywood Brown there in the 3rd says, okay, well, if Lamar Jackson doesn't come back to us at the end of the 5th, hell, we'll just go ahead and we will just take Kyler. Okay, so I'm going to try to make this work. I had a draft earlier this morning that I took Kelsey in the 1st at like the 112, and then we ended up getting Kyle Pitts at the 312. That was one of the only drafts that I have successfully completed the bully tight end strategy and felt comfortable with it. I just feel like we are getting boxed out a wide receiver here when Deontay Johnson and DJ Moore go with those 2 picks. And hell, let's see. Let's see if we can push tight ends up the draft board. Let's see if we can monopolize the position and have value fall to us a little later on and create a unique team at the same time. Now, we'll see. Probably doesn't work out, but I titled this live stream an exciting fantasy football draft, so we're going to try some things, and it's a $5 buy-in. If it was a $250 big dog draft, hell no, I would never even think about doing this, but it's a $5 buy-in. We got to practice for those $250 drafts once we get closer to the season. And real quick, if you think that I am stupid and you want to draft with me and take my money, I got great news for you. You can do so on Underdog Fantasy. Go sign up for Underdog Fantasy with the link in the description of this video. A, it's the most fun you will ever have. B, you can draft with us in the live stream, draft with us in the public lobby. You can draft with your friends. You can draft with whoever you want, whenever you want. And they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. When you use promo code FLOCK, you will also get our 2022 rankings, our 2022 Dynasty Rookie Draft Guide, our 2022 Dynasty rankings, and you'll support this channel. So please make sure you go through and take advantage of that. But let's see if we can pull this off. Metcalf goes to the forward 9. So Damian going through, building around the wide receiver position early. Chase, Higgins, A.J. Brown, and Metcalf. I'm assuming that they're going to hope they get Jalen Hurts, making it to him in the 6th. I feel like taking Metcalf over Akers here I don't want to say it's a stretch. Maybe it's getting a little cute, but hell, who can I say is getting cute whenever we decided to take Andrews in the second and Waller in the fourth? Okay, so Allen Robinson here goes at the end of the fourth. Michael says, there's a special place in hell for you, Garrett, sniping Patrick Mahomes on me. Okay, so looks like here, Michael's Pop-Tart. He wanted Patrick Mahomes making it to him at the 405, obviously. And Garrett goes through and grabs Mahomes. So that doesn't happen. But Chris Godwin going at the 412. I like the call. I mean, we took Chris Godwin at believe the 507 in the last draft. Chris Godwin is one of my most drafted wide receivers. Obviously, he's going to miss the beginning part of the season. But in these tournaments, that's almost a good thing because we can look at it and say, hell, yeah, Chris Godwin will miss the beginning of the year. But if he misses the beginning of the season, then all of a sudden the ownership percentage of him for that playoff tournament is inherently going to be lower. And we know that he has an elite ceiling. Like, nobody can debate that. Okay, so David Montgomery goes at the 504. Juju Smith-Schuster at the 506. Y'all know what we are hoping for, and there's a decent chance it happens. There's a decent chance it happens, ladies and gentlemen. This team has Justin Herbert. This team has Patrick Mahomes. We just have to dodge Michael, and we have to dodge Mike to get our guy Lamar Jackson coming in. This would be the perfect draft. This would be the perfect draft start in creating a unique team that has upside. Give us our guy. Give it to him. Give it to us. Come on. Michael goes Brandon Cooks. Okay, we just have to dodge Mike. Mike's the last guy we have to dodge. Mike has Zeke, Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, Michael Pittman. Bateman goes. Oh, it freaking pisses me off. We will go Kyler. We figured we weren't going to get Lamar. That's the entire reason we took Hollywood Brown. Like, in a vacuum, I do prefer DJ Moore. I do prefer Deontay Johnson over Hollywood. But you have to know that when you're drafting at the very end of round 5, there's a small probability that you actually end up getting Lamar Jackson making it to you. So we set ourselves up with that Kyler Murray stack. And here, I think we probably end up going Josh Jacobs. I'm trying to take Josh Jacobs in as many of these drafts as I possibly can when he's falling to the 6th round. Like, we were doing the same thing last year, getting Josh Jacobs in the 6th. Josh Jacobs had a career high in targets per game. I believe Josh Jacobs averaged 4 targets a game last season, which was fantastic. Now, I will say that will come down because if you think about who he was going up for in terms of his target competition last year, he had to battle out Hunter Renfrow, and that is it. Darren Waller was injured. Henry Ruggs was in prison. Ryan Edwards was horrible. So who else was Derek Carr going to throw the ball to other than Jacobs? I do think the overall target share in this offense comes down with Darren Waller healthy, with Devontae Adams coming in, and also I think the touchdown upside probably comes down just slightly with Devontae Adams coming in. Maybe they increase the rate that they are passing inside the 5-yard line. But still, at the 602, I feel like it is one of the highest floor picks that you're going to have. Okay, so Matt says, Deebo gets taken, so I select DeAndre Swift. At pick 17, Devontae Adams gets taken. That is crazy. Okay, so what Matt said is he took Najee Harris to pick 9, and then he had his eyes set in on Mr. Deebo Samuel in the 2nd. He went, and without double checking, he just took DeAndre Swift, and Devontae Adams was still available at pick 17. Oh, that is brutal, my man. Andrew says, anyone know how to put a promo code on Underdog before you deposit? I know you're trolling me, but this is on y'all. If y'all want to troll me, I'll troll you back. Go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK when you sign up. Go with the link in the description. That will automatically be entered for you. Do you have a ton of fun? You can get in these drafts. And if y'all want to continue to troll me by asking me what the promo code is, I will happily continue to tell you. Bro, I'm telling you. I like seeing those questions. Okay. Henry says, the price of drafting on the show, that guy knows you want Lamar. Usually I would throw a little fit about getting sniped, yada, yada, yada. No, Lamar Jackson has an ADP of like 52. I can't throw a fit about Lamar Jackson going to pick 58 because honestly, if I was him, I would have done the same exact thing. Even if I didn't have a Baltimore Raven, I'd be looking at Lamar Jackson saying, okay, well, Lamar, very similar to Jalen Hurts. Those are the 2 guys I'm fine taking without having a passing game option because they do have that elite level ceiling. And the majority of that ceiling is coming from what they can do as a rusher. Like, you don't need the passing volume. You don't need to have Mark Andrews hit if Lamar Jackson's going to be the quarterback 1 overall in fantasy. Like, it is in the range of outcomes for Lamar Jackson to be a top 3 quarterback in fantasy and Mark Andrews to get injured and Mark Andrews to get hurt. Where, like, Tom Brady, that's not possible. Like, if Mike Evans is going to be a top 3 wide receiver or Tom Brady's going to be a top 3 quarterback, Mike Evans has to be right there. Like, they have to go together because Tom Brady's value is derived just based off of passing volume alone. So, like, I'm completely fine with him going Lamar Jackson to the 5'10". I can't come out here and cry and throw a fit about it. Antonio Gibson makes it all the way to pick 76. He goes behind Elijah Mitchell, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, A.J. Dillon. Interesting. Very rarely are you seeing him fall that far. Okay, so now let's bring this down. DeAndre Hopkins at pick 75. We only have 1 wide receiver so far. So obviously, y'all know we are looking for a receiver. Sky Moore goes to pick 78. Hawkinson's off the board. Oh, I would have been so pissed if Hawkinson was still available for us. I would have been so pissed if we were looking at TJ Hawkinson as best available at pick 83. Okay, so we are, I think, able to only draft 5 running backs when we have the combination of Najee Harris and Josh Jacobs, regardless of if we grab another RB here. Adam Thielen goes to the 708. So Garrett has 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 3 receivers, and a tight end. I really like his start so far. Because he's only going to have to draft 2 quarterbacks. He's only going to have to draft 2 tight ends. Mike on the clock. Let's see. This is the guy who sniped us on Lamar Jackson in the last round. He ended up taking Elijah Mitchell in the 6th. Interesting to get Elijah Mitchell in the 6th. I guess it is a flat tier. Like, you can almost go whatever way you want. Very happy to see Hunter Renfrow off the board because when we already had Josh Jacobs, when we already had Darren Waller, I would have felt uncomfortable to take Renfrow. But if we're going to get Devontae Smith at pick 83, I cannot complain. You know, Benico is really upset that he doesn't get Devontae Smith making it back to him. He was probably sweating it out. He had Jalen Hurts at quarterback, getting Smith 14 picks behind his ADP when you took a Jalen Hurts earlier. I'd imagine you'd be very excited about that, but I think we almost have to go with him. Wonder if he goes Miles Sanders. Okay, he goes Dak. Is he on auto draft? Who did he take? I guess he could be on auto. No, he's not. He took Miles Sanders. We're going to go with the wide receiver. I think we really need a receiver when we only have 1 wide receiver through the first 6 rounds in this draft so far. None of these guys really stand out. We'll just go highest ranked player according to ADP. Let's just load up Christian Kirk here. I will show off this draft board. We are trying something new. We are trying to create a unique team here with Mark Andrews and Darren Waller at tight end. Hopefully we can successfully push tight ends up the board a little bit later on. Who knows if it actually ends up working, but we are going to try our best. The reason we don't consider one of these quarterbacks like Trey Lance in this range is we have Darren Waller. We have Josh Jacobs. We could end up going with Derek Carr at the 9-10 turn, and I think that would fit the roster construction. We would only have to take 2 in that scenario as well. Steven says only 4 likes for 250 plus people watching. Come on, people. Steven, my man, you're going to have to refresh the live stream. I think we are closing in on about 200 likes on the live stream. So, of course, thank you so much, everybody, for coming out and supporting the channel. Damien says he loves the squad. Let's go through and let's check out Damien's team so far. And let's look at the 104. Okay, so we had Chase, Higgins, A.J. Brown, Metcalf through the first 4 rounds. He ends up getting David Montgomery in the 5th, which this is why I think it's so beneficial to take wide receivers early where you can, or take an elite quarterback or take an elite tight end. Like, I don't see the reason you need to draft James Conner in the middle of the 3rd. Like, I don't see the reason you need to draft James Conner over A.J. Brown if you're going to get David Montgomery in the 5th, if you're going to get Josh Jacobs in the 6th. Like, historically speaking, 5th, 6th round, those are the ranges you need to be avoiding running backs. But also, historically speaking, running backs in that range are much, 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 much worse than guys like David Montgomery and Josh Jacobs. These underdog drafts have thrown everything out the window. If you're just looking at, oh, well, we knew in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 that you wanted to be drafting a running back in the 1st, maybe a running back in the 2nd, and you needed to be loading up on wide receivers in round 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just go wide receiver after wide receiver after wide receiver. That may have been true, but all those wide receivers are pushed up now. So you have to completely reevaluate how you were drafting earlier. Okay. So Kareem Hunt goes at the 8-11. You'll know I would have loved getting some Kareem Hunt making it back to us in the 9th. One of my most drafted running backs. Don't see that changing anytime soon. Tony Pollard goes at the 8-12. Zach Ertz at the 9-01. Good for us. We want these tight ends off the board. The longer those tight ends last, the worse it is for us when we go with the bully tight end strategy with the combination of Mark Andrews and Darren Waller. And let me just go through and do some mental gymnastics here, right? We're going to be jumping through hoops, trying to convince you why it may be, just maybe, a good idea to go ahead and go with the bully tight end strategy. Probably not. I will say probably not. A, you automatically create a unique team. Not too many teams are going to have the combination of Mark Andrews and Darren Waller. B, when Darren Waller and Mark Andrews are drafted, 9 out of 10 teams, including myself, you're only drafting 2 tight ends. And a lot of people are waiting until the end. So if someone goes and say drafts Mark Andrews in the 2nd, and then they wait to draft their 2nd tight end and they get Gerald Everett as that next option, and Mark Andrews misses 6 to 7 weeks that season, all of a sudden, everybody who drafted Mark Andrews and only grabbed one other tight end, which I have on so many other teams, like so many teams, they are dead. They have no chance to advance. Gerald Everett is not going to get you there. But if you were to have a bully tight end strategy and you have Darren Waller there as well, then all of a sudden Mark Andrews goes down. Darren Waller will cover up that production and you could possibly sneak into the tournament. And if Mark Andrews gets healthy in time, you could be one of the only teams in the tournament with one of those elite level tight ends if they got injured halfway through the year. There are a couple different reasons you can do it. Also, they push up tight ends later on in the draft board like you see. We have guys like Dawson Knox, Zach Ertz, all these players off. Maybe they would have been off the board regardless. That's just me jumping through some hoops, trying to do some mental gymnastics on maybe trying to convince myself why we weren't an idiot for drafting 2 tight ends. Okay, so yeah, obviously we want Derek Carr with this turn, but Benico, they can't take Derek Carr. They have the combination of Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, and Mike has the combination of Lamar Jackson, Trey Lance. They can't take Derek Carr either. So we are just going to lock in Chris Olave as our wide receiver 4, and we are going to get Derek Carr at pick 110 to get the stack with Darren Waller as well as Josh Jacobs. Don't love stacking Josh Jacobs, but I will say, I think with Derek Carr in particular, he is the last quarterback in this range where we can draft him and we can confidently say that he has access to a top 5 finish at the position. Okay, let's see where Benico decides to take this. He goes Tyler Boyd at the 9-12. Interesting. I guess he does have 3 wide receivers. I'm sorry, 3 running backs. He has Dalvin, Dobbins, and Miles Sanders. And he goes Chase Claypool. So we're going to go ahead and take Derek Carr. I think he fits the build. Let me show off this team real quick. It's not going to look pretty. It's never going to look pretty when you go bully tight end because it's not optimal. Okay, we are about to pass 200 likes in the live stream and 300 people in this live stream. So I guess maybe we are going to get another draft going after this. Please make sure if you have not done so already, go down there, drop another like on the live stream. If you dropped one, drop another. Drop as many as you can. Let's get another draft going after this one. This will be a little live stream party. We've been doing 3 or 4 of these drafts in the live stream, I swear to God, almost every single day. Every single day. Damien says, I'm glad we weren't near each other, Mason. We definitely would have been sniping each other. Yeah, every time I hear someone say, oh yeah, Mason, I'm in the draft as well. I'm at the 101. If I pull it up and I know that I'm at the 102, I'm like, oh dear God. This is going to be hell. This is not going to be a good time. I am happy whenever y'all are in the same draft, but on the other side of the room. Okay, Nick says, Mason, I've seen Deshaun Watson fall a ton in drafts. Do you think he gets suspended? And if so, for how long? I wish I could be like everyone else, and I wish I could come out here and pretend like I know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. I am not a lawyer. You are not a lawyer. Sad to say. What I do know is I know the NFL does everything they can. They are a business first to make money. What I do know is the Cleveland Browns paid Deshaun Watson the most guaranteed money we have ever seen in the NFL. And they traded 3 first-round picks to get him. That tells me that I think the probability Deshaun Watson is suspended for an entire year, despite how they structured his contract salary in year 1, I think it's very low. I think he does see a suspension. I think the odds he is suspended for an entire year, like some people are saying, I do not think that's possible. If that's possible, if that is what happens, the Cleveland Browns made one of the worst investments into a player of all time of all time. Dakota says, I'm going to be sad when I cap out on entries tomorrow. My man, you are like, y'all are just flexing. I feel like I am in these all the time. How do you get in more drafts than I am? I do like 4 or 5 every single morning. Then I do like 4 on the live stream. I'm in like 10 drafts a day. Like, let me pull this up. So completed teams. Let's add this. Yeah, so this is like our 115th draft, but we've only done 65 puppies. So like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to max out the puppies because it's already over halfway filled and I don't have half my entries in. So I probably have to start drafting more if I'm going to max this out. Okay, so Frymuth goes at the 11:04. Walter says you can run multiple 8-hour drafts. Mason, I feel like I hate an 8-hour timer. Also, I feel like better drafters are probably in those 8-hour timer drafts. Do y'all not think so? Anthony says, just enter a ton of slow drafts and wake up to 20 active picks. I'm not about that life. I'm going to be sticking to the fast drafts. I feel like that is where we can find some value. Okay, so Jarvis Landry at the 11:05, Justin Fields at the 11:06. Good. We need these quarterbacks. We want quarterbacks, tight ends drafted. Quarterbacks, tight ends off the board. Get them off. I do not want to see them. Okay, so yeah, in this team here only has one QB, one tight end. Now it's Justin Herbert and TJ Hawkinson, so maybe they don't reach on someone. They take Devontae Parker instead. Pop-Tart, I believe this is Michael. Yeah, he had Stafford and Kelsey. You're not going to see him reach. Tim Patrick off the board. Ronald Jones gone. F it. Let's just take McCole Hardman. It is what it is. With McCole Hardman, he was the only player on the Kansas City Chiefs in that wide receiver room last year. I wouldn't take him in a traditional format, but in best ball, maybe he has access to some spike weeks. And then if you looked at it, Benico here, he had 3 running backs already. I don't think you can take both Dameon Pierce and Rachaad White. We're going to get at least one of these guys making it back to us. And spam the chat real quick. If we have the option, who do you prefer? I'll take whoever y'all want. Dameon Pierce or Rachaad White. Spam it. First name I see we're going with. Never mind. He goes Rachaad White. So we are going to go ahead and take Dameon Pierce as our running back 3. I think if you look at Pierce versus Isaiah Spiller, Michael Carter, honestly, there's not that big of a gap. Like, I think you could make an argument to prefer Michael Carter over someone like Dameon Pierce. The issue is if Dameon Pierce has an ADP of 128 and I'm doing 300 of these drafts throughout the offseason, I can't take Michael Carter Jr. over Dameon Pierce every single draft, because if we do that every single draft, all of a sudden we are going to end up with 50% of our drafts. We have Michael Carter, and I can't do that. Okay, so Jacob says, is Javonte Williams worth a 111 pick in a Dynasty Superflex startup? I would say no. Okay, so Michael Carter does go at pick 136. Crowder, Van Jefferson also off the board. Isaiah Spiller at the 1206. Connor says, how much will the next draft be? All these drafts I'm going to do at this time of the year, I'm going to try to stick with the $5 drafts. Like, we're going to get into $5 drafts once we get closer to the season, because I want to practice with these $5 drafts. Like, we can practice with these $5 drafts. I'm already very comfortable with our drafting strategy, but I'm sure I'm going to continue to get better and continue to learn, and the draft board will continue to update as we go through the summer. Once we get to August, I'll be willing to hop into some like $250 big dog drafts. I'll be hopping into more of the $25 best ball mania. But I feel like it's a really good idea to practice with these $5 drafts right now. Garrett says, how is my team looking? I'm at the 109. Okay, so let's go through. Let's check out Garrett's team. Took Diggs in the first, Mixon in the second, Kyle Pitts in third. Love that start, my man. Love that start. Mahomes in the fourth. So you lock yourself into 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends for your build. Rashad Bateman in the fifth. I'm sure that you probably were a little pissed that Lamar was still staring you in the face, but obviously you can't go Lamar Jackson in the fifth regardless. Michael Thomas in the sixth, one of my most drafted wide receivers in the 6th round. Ayuk in the 7th. I personally would prefer Devontae Smith over Ayuk. Maybe you were setting up the Lance stack on the way back around. Kenneth Walker, I really like. Cordell Patterson, great value. James Cook, great value. My man, you had a much better draft than we did. I love your draft. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic draft. Global Travel says, Pierce over Tyler Algier, though, yes. With Dameon Pierce, A, I think he's probably a better running back. B, he doesn't have Cordell Patterson in his backfield. Okay, so now Cole Kmet off the board. Good. We need these tight ends off. Run these tight ends off the board. How many guys are still up there? You have Irv Smith Jr., ADP of 151, so I would be very surprised if he's still available when we are up at pick 155. Lawrence could potentially be off as well. Lawrence has an ADP of 147. Our next pick's 155. Yeah, Damian only has one QB. Icon only has one QB. Pop-Tart only has one QB. Garrett only has one quarterback. So I'd imagine we get these guys off. Let's see. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much on what we are going to be doing. Jack says, love your commentary and analysis. Have a great Sunday, Mason. No, thank you so much, my dude. I hope you have a great Sunday as well. And thank you for being a part of the flock and supporting the channel. I promise you, I appreciate it, my man. Okay, so DJ Chark goes at pick 151. Come on, get Lawrence off the board. Pop-Tart, take him. Garrett, take him. Someone take him. You know what? I will let y'all choose our next pick as well. Let's wait a little bit further. Okay, he goes Joshua Palmer at 152. Spam the chat right now. What wide receiver do you want between these four? What wide receiver do you want? First name I see, we're taking. Nick says, what promo code do I use to sign up for Underdog? Again, thank you for the troll. I'll be happy to answer that in a second. What name do y'all want? Don't give me two. I see you, Angela. Don't give me two. We got Bell, Osborne, Bell, Osborne. Bell's already off. So it looks like most people are Pickens. Osborne. Okay, so it looks like most people are saying KJ Osborne. We will go ahead and we'll take him. I don't think it really matters too much based on our roster construction and who we have so far. Maybe you say, oh my God, okay, well, KJ Osborne has bye week 7. Devontae Smith has bye week 7 as well. No, we don't care about that. We don't care about that. Okay. So let's see if Benico decides to go both these wide receivers. If he does, it's kind of whatever. I'll be happily taking a running back. We know he's not going to go QB. I mean, this is a team that has Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott, so Lawrence is probably off the table for him. Common Sense says, great to be drafting with you on this Sunday, Mason. No, thank you, my man, for coming out and hopping in this draft with us. Okay, so Gerald Everett goes to pick 156. Okay, now y'all can spam the chat. Corey Davis or George Pickens? Who do you want? I don't think it matters based on who we have so far. Maybe you make the argument we want to bet on the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, take George Pickens, pair him up with Najee Harris. Honestly, I think the correlation there is probably not going to be too much. I don't think it really matters. Okay, it doesn't matter. George Pickens is off the board, so we are going to just lock in Corey Davis. And I am sorry I have to do this to you. I am sorry, but Nick came out and asked. So if y'all want to get mad at someone, get mad at Nick. He said, what promo code do I use to sign up for Underdog Fantasy? Trolling us, clearly. But, my man, great news for you. If you want to have fun in these fantasy drafts, if you want to have a good time, if you want to enjoy your life and get in some real money fantasy football drafts today, go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK. Find the link in the description. You will get our 2022 Dynasty Rookie Draft Guide, over 130 pages with the $10 deposit. You will get that deposit match dollar for dollar up to 100. On top of this, you'll get our rankings, our 2022 Dynasty rankings, and you will support this channel. So thank you, of course, everyone. And thank you, Nick, for setting me up, like lobbing me, like, you know, the famous Dwayne Wade, LeBron play, just lobbing it. I'm coming in, just slamming down with that promo. Thank you, my man. Okay. So Darrell Williams at the 1408, pick 164. Darrell Williams, he is going up ever so slightly every single draft. I don't think it's the same scenario that we had James Conner and Chase Edmonds in last year. I know obviously this is a running back that is number 2 in an elite level offense, but it's not like the contract indicates he's guaranteed to have that number 2 job. Like, I'm someone who was saying don't draft Keontae Ingram at the beginning of the offseason. I was the leader of the Keontae Ingram hate train. Like, I felt like we were saying this guy's not good. You don't need to be drafting him. But I think if we're looking at Darrell Williams, Keontae Ingram, Eno Benjamin, the gap between all three of those players isn't massive. And yeah, if you would have drafted James Conner everywhere as the running back 2 last year for Arizona, you would have had a massive profit. But we have seen James Conner before go out there and post a top 5 finish at the position. We had already seen that. Darrell Williams in Kansas City last season didn't do anything. Yeah, he had a small role. You can never start him in fantasy. So even if James Conner were to go down, I don't think Darrell Williams turns into a 3-down player. Like, I think I would prefer Keel Herbert over Darrell Williams. And good, we get some quarterbacks going off the board. Tannehill, Daniel Jones, Mac Jones. Good. There's still quarterbacks at the top of ADP. Okay, but the only guys we can consider are right here. Running backs and receivers. I've not decided if we were going to go with the 2-5-9-2 build yet, or if we were going to go with a 2-6-8-2 build. Our wide receiver core, not the best. But remember, we went with a bully tight end strategy. We have both Mark Andrews and Darren Waller here. Okay? We have both Mark Andrews and Darren Waller. So if we get to that playoff stretch, we are not going to need the same week-to-week ceiling from our wide receiver depth that we would have otherwise, because when we draft Andrews and Waller, we assume that one of them already hits our flex spot. So for that reason, I think I'm going to be more willing to go with a 6 running back, 8 wide receiver approach. Derek says, the promo code was great, but my question is, do you have to put in the starting lineup every week? That many drafts seems like it'll be a lot of work. My man, yeah, but the thing is, I'm fine submitting 300 starting lineups. I'm fine submitting 300 waiver claims throughout the season. Like, that's just me. But, you know, I can put in that work. I'm not going to get tired. Okay, so let's go through. Let's take Gus Edwards. I think Gus Edwards, honestly, is a pretty bad pick at his ADP. Like, going at pick 169, I'm avoiding Gus Edwards in a lot of these drafts because even if Dobbins were to go down, Gus Edwards doesn't have a role in the receiving game. He will never be a 3-down player. But for getting him at pick 179, it is what it is. Okay. So now we are going to make a pick at 182. I'm going to queue up some guys, and then we're going to hop into our next draft. But I really need to fill up my water. Y'all can probably see that my mouth is dry as hell. So let me go fill up my water. Please don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just 1 second. Do we want Donovan Peoples-Jones or Wan'Dale Robinson? Honestly, I kind of want Wan'Dale. Okay, let's see what Benico does. Okay, so let's just take Wan'Dale Robinson. I'll show you all this draft board as we run through and get some water. I will be back in 10 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. 10 seconds. Okay, we are back. We are going to get another draft going after this one now that I have some water. I think we should be good for it. Probably going to do this live stream until maybe I can get another one going after the next one. We can get 5 drafts going today. It's Sunday. Y'all absolutely smashed that like button. Y'all killed it. And I'm having a lot of fun. Like I said, there's nothing more fun than hopping in these drafts, especially if we get to do it on a live stream, even though y'all are a little bit tougher of competition. I will admit that. Okay, so Common Sense says, driving and drafting isn't the easiest. Had to come back on the wide receiver. Thoughts on my draft? My man. My first thing is I do not advise for you to draft and drive at the same time. I know if you look into anybody's car, 100% of them are always on their phone, but probably not the best idea. Now, if we look at this, CMC, Fournette in the first 2 rounds, Josh Allen round 3, Kittle round 4, setting up the 2 quarterback, 2 tight end build. Gabriel Davis to get the stack with Josh Allen. At least you didn't have to take him over Chris Godwin. Elijah Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, Russell Gage, pretty much all at their ADP. Dawson Knox to get the double stack. Dawson Knox at a good value as well. Deshaun Watson. I believe Buffalo has a week 7 bye, don't they? I think Buffalo has a week 7 bye. I mean, obviously an elite level ceiling if Deshaun Watson is not suspended for too long and you're able to just get both spike weeks from Watson and Josh Allen, putting possibly a top 3 quarterback finish every single week. That would be ridiculous. Okay, but let's go through. Let's make our next 2 picks. Then we'll hop into another draft after this one. And I think we're probably going to end up. Let's see where the value falls. We are how many picks away? 3 picks away right now. Henry says underdog should put the bye week on the board so you can see. I mean, you can see the bye week here whenever you're going to draft the players. And also, you see them whenever you look at your team. I think, honestly, it would be a little bit crowded if they're on the board. Y'all know I have made fun of people drafting Raheem Mostert for I don't know how long now. This is a running back that is 30 years old, and he has 1 game with 20 carries or more throughout his entire NFL career. Hell, it's a 203rd pick in this draft. I don't like Gus Edwards. I don't like Raheem Mostert. But when we need a running back and when they have fallen this far, I'll throw up my hands and say, I guess we're drafting him. Okay. So let's go ahead and draft Hassan Haskins as well. This was a running back based on the draft capital. You know he'll be on the roster to start the season. And on top of that, not only will he be on the roster, but at the same time, if Derrick Henry were to go down, he has league-breaking upside. So let's go through. Let's hop into our next draft. And this is going to be another puppy. We're going to go quick. Let's just get in here. Get in here and see how many spots are available. Okay, we got 3 spots available for anybody wanting to hop in. Where are we picking? I'm calling 101. Okay, never mind. 112. I draft every single draft. I'm at the 112. Every single one. Literally, I had 3 drafts in a row this morning. I drafted from the 112. 3 in a row. Now, I do like the pick. Trust me, I like the pick. I'm not going to complain, but this is how I end up with, I believe, let's look at the updated exposures after the past few drafts. But this is how I end up with 24% Travis Kelce, 27% Jalen Waddle, 20% Patrick Mahomes, 19% Mark Andrews. Because I'm always picking in this range. I'm always picking at the 112. These are the guys I like in that range. Jacob Blue says, I am J Blue in this draft. Okay, let me go through and give a shout out to everybody who came in the draft with us. Okay, so we have Dan in the domain. Okay, I don't think they're a part of the flock. Just Manage Better. I've seen them before. Birdman is out here. I've not seen him in a while. Okay, Harry Gator ruled. Guys, if y'all are setting up an underdog fantasy, let's create a name we can read. Like, look at this. Fantasy Flock. Easy to read. Easy to read. Dunk. Easy to read. Just Manage Better. Easy to read. Okay. J Blue. Okay, so we got Jacob. Doc is a part of the flock as well. I don't think we have too many people in this draft with us. Damian says, nice drafting with you, fellas. No, thank you, my man, for hopping in that draft with us. I appreciate it. Okay, so Justin Jefferson at the 103. Doc says he's at the 8 pick. Okay, so CMC. I wonder if anything is going to... The 112, I have an idea who we're going to end up going with just because I'm going to draft with y'all. I will write it down right now because I don't want to say it out loud. Just throw a guess on here. Let's write it on a page. It doesn't matter. Here's my guess on who we end up with at the turn. Unless y'all surprise me. Okay, Kelce, then Henry. We are 3 picks away. Eckler, Najee Harris, Dalvin Cook, all best available. I do not think either 3 of these people are part of the flock or watching the live stream. I may be wrong. Probably wrong. They go Austin Eckler at the 109. Let's see. My guess for these next 2 picks, I'm going to guess Najee Harris, Devontae Adams. Let's see if I'm right. My guess is Najee Harris. Oh, no, Devontae Adams, maybe then Najee Harris. If that happens, my guess on who we were going to select at the turn here is correct. They go Najee Harris. So we're going to get CeeDee Lamb. We are going to get Mark Andrews. A very common start of mine. A start that I really like because we are setting ourselves up with the chance that possibly just somehow, some way, we end up getting Lamar Jackson at the end of the 5th. If that doesn't happen, you always are looking at Dak Prescott. I like the 7-8 turn. I think it's a great value for Dak as well. And that was our guess, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if that will show it. Lamb and Mark Andrews. Figured you were going to have Devontae Adams already off the board. Figured you were going to have Travis Kelce off the board as well. As here, Jacob said he's a part of the vlog. Says watching the live stream, so I assumed he was going to end up going Travis Kelce. And Nick says, I've seen Mason do this about 30 times, LOL. Yeah, this is a very common start of mine. I really like it because you set yourselves up with the options to get those quarterbacks at a relatively nice price later on and still have a ton of upside with your team. Okay, so Higgins goes to the 207. Okay, so Harry Gator is setting himself up with that Week 17 game stack between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. I don't necessarily know if that... I don't know if that game stack is worth chasing because everybody's going for it. Like literally everybody when they enter these drafts is like, okay, well, we want the Green Bay Packers and Minnesota Vikings stack, and we want the Cincinnati Bengals and Buffalo Bills stack. That's what everybody goes for when they enter here. They try to get Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones. They try to get Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins, as well as Josh Allen. Brad says he is AU Tigers. Okay, where's Brad picking from? Okay, he's at the 109. He went Austin Eckler and DeAndre Swift. A very awkward spot to be in. I probably agree with you. I probably would have ended up going Austin Eckler at the 109 once Kelce and Andrews were already off the board. But when you're at pick 16, I feel like it's so difficult. Like DeAndre Swift isn't someone that I'm picking this upcoming season. Like I loved DeAndre Swift last year. DeAndre Swift was one of my most drafted running backs alongside Joe Mixon. But like DeAndre Swift is now in a worse situation. There's way more target competition. And instead of taking him at the end of the 3rd, the beginning of the 4th, you're having to take him here at pick 16. Like, I don't want to act like, oh man, you're a fool. You're a fool. You can't go DeAndre Swift. Obviously, it's Deebo Samuel. I don't know where else you would go. I don't know what the alternative is. It's just a really awkward spot to be in. Al says, when are you going to do a draft with your girlfriend? That would be hilarious. I mean, that would, we're not doing that. My girlfriend wouldn't even know. If I asked her what team Tom Brady was on, she wouldn't know. Okay, so we're not doing a draft with my girlfriend, okay? Okay, so Tyreek Hill at the 303, Keenan Allen at the 304. I have no idea what to expect. Javonte, I like the fact that Javonte Williams has been falling. I mean, I'll take him here in the middle of the 3rd. But when Javonte Williams was going at the 2-3 turn previously, like I just wrote the Javonte Williams chapter in our draft guide. Melvin Gordon averaged more yards per carry and more carries per game than Javonte Williams last year. Now, trust me, I love the talent of Javonte Williams. I think that he is one of the most talented running backs in the NFL. And last year, we were advocating to draft Javonte Williams everywhere in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. Now, taking him at the 2-3 turn does seem rich when Melvin Gordon's still there, even if we expect him to expand his role. It's just tough for me. Okay, so Mike Williams, Michael Pittman go off the board. Thank God we are not looking at a draft board that has Kyle Pitts staring at us, or maybe we would have fooled ourselves into going Kyle Pitts. And we're not going to go Darren Waller here. We did that bully tight end strategy in the last video, but the reason we did it is because the best wide receivers we were looking at were Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton. And I'm not taking Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton in that range. Here, we are going to get DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson. I'm fine grabbing these 2 wide receivers in this draft. In the last one, we preferred going with Hollywood Brown because we needed to set ourselves up with the stack of Kyler Murray later on. But whenever we have CeeDee Lamb, I'm comfortable with the Dak Prescott stack that we can get out of value at the end of the 7th. And also, there is the outside chance that we end up getting Lamar Jackson falling to us at the 5-6 turn. Henry says, stupid that Gordon has to come back. Man, I agree with you. Like, if Melvin Gordon was not back in Denver and it was only Javonte Williams and Mike Boone, what you probably end up taking Melvin Gordon Javonte Williams at pick. Like, he's going before DeAndre Swift. He's going at the 1-2 turn. Like, Javonte Williams without Melvin Gordon would be going where Dalvin Cook is. But just because in that parallel universe, that's where he's going, we can't take him here. We can't just take him there blindly. Okay, so Jerry Jeudy at the 405, Mahomes at the 406. Oh, I did not even notice. Okay, so Jay Blue, he himself goes with the bully tight end strategy, helps us out whenever we took Mark Andrews in the second. Hopefully this means you get guys like TJ Hawkinson, Dalton Schultz push up the board, and also maybe it means we should end up trying to target one of those guys if they fall, and you have two teams monopolizing or cannibalizing just the tight end position. That'd be pretty interesting. Okay, so Cam Akers goes to the 407. I will point out David Montgomery goes here at pick 38. Maybe you make the argument you want to take David Montgomery here from a unique standpoint, in that very rarely does David Montgomery go at the beginning of the fourth round. But what I will say is I've selected David Montgomery at the end of the fifth before. Like, I've selected David Montgomery on the same team where he just went. The only difference is at pick 59 instead of pick 38. Like, I think it's harder to justify reaching on players once we get into these middle rounds and saying, okay, I'm going to create a unique combination. Like, yeah, you can create a unique combination by, say, taking CeeDee Lamb and Deebo Samuel, who those are two players that will never be on the same team. Like, reaching on David Montgomery here at the beginning of the fourth, you're not creating anything unique. Now, Lamar Jackson ends up going at the 411. That sucks. I can't cry about it. Like, the odds that we had Lamar Jackson making it to us at the end of the fifth, very small regardless. Okay, so Chris Godwin goes at the 412. Okay, so back-to-back drafts that Godwin goes here at the 4-5 turn. I think that, honestly, is probably about where he should be going if we're looking at some of these other wide receiver ADPs. I know he's going to miss the beginning part of the season, but still. He's going to be a top 10 wide receiver on a points per game basis. We know that. He should be back by the bye weeks. Okay, so Rashad Bateman goes to the 502. Let's switch this over. So Kittle still available. Kittle goes at pick 51. You know what? I have an idea. I'm going to write who I think we are going to get, even though we are 8 picks away. I think I know. I think I know who we're going to be selecting at this turn. Please guess in the chat our two picks. I'm guessing myself because who knows? Maybe we get a value falling to us that I'm not expecting and we end up getting to go in a different direction. But guess in the chat right now who we take. So far, we took Mark Andrews, CeeDee Lamb, DJ Moore, and Deontay Johnson. Matt says, did Darrell Williams get signed to Arizona right after the draft? No, it actually was about 2 or 3 weeks after the draft. Okay, so Jay Blue, it definitely was after the NFL draft. Breece Hall at the 507, really like the Breece Hall pick, especially if you don't have a running back just yet. He ended up getting a great value at Mahomes. I'm going to be interested to track that team. Okay, so we have a couple people. Okay, so Carson says ETN and Darnell Mooney. Travis Etienne off the board here. I would have taken ETN if he fell to us at pick 60. I was not expecting Travis Etienne to be available there because as a running back with an ADP of 50. Allen Robinson off. Okay, so I think we're sticking with our plan. Our two guys I thought we were going to get are there. Ray has 3 running backs, so I'd be very surprised if he went with one. Yeah, so we are going to go ahead and grab the 2 guys that we were planning on. We're getting Jalen Hurts here. I do want 2 quarterbacks inside the top 100 picks in as many drafts as we can have. If we were going to get a quarterback that we don't have the stack to, those quarterbacks we want win those stacks. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, the guys that provide a rushing upside. Called it again. Knew how this draft was going to fall. Hurts and Jacobs. Maybe can't see it, but you can believe me. Obviously, this isn't that impressive. I get to choose who I pick. So obviously, I should have an idea of who we're going to be taking. Okay, so Elijah Moore goes to the 605. We're fine seeing a wide receiver run happen here. I mean, we have CeeDee Lamb, we have DJ Moore, we have Deontay Johnson. Elijah Moore goes the 605. And I would have taken Hollywood Brown with this team in particular over one of DJ Moore or Deontay Johnson if we knew we weren't going to get Lamar Jackson for sure making it back to us. I'd be like, okay, yeah, let's just go ahead. Let's take him. But it wouldn't have worked out anyway because Kyler Murray ends up going at the 509. Okay, so we have a massive wide receiver run happening here. Noah out in the chat. Thank you, Noah, for coming out, my man. Thank you for everything that you have done for the channel. And we are closing in on, I believe I move in like 2 weeks. In exactly 2 weeks, in 14 days. That sign, which is put up there with industrial tape, like crazy strong tape, is getting ripped off the wall, probably with a crowbar. So we are going to have to fix this wall in this apartment complex. God knows how we're going to do it. Probably just going to end up having to pay a lot of money to this apartment complex for that sign up there, but probably worth it. Okay, so Mike goes through. He takes Dalton Schultz with George Kittle as well. So he goes with a little bit of a bully tight end strategy. Okay, Burrow goes to the 607. Let me check out where that Burrow team goes. Okay, so that goes to the T. Higgins build. Okay, so yeah, they are building around that one game environment. They have, for Buffalo, Diggs and Gabriel Davis. For Cincinnati, Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. Interesting. And can someone in the chat ask me about a promo code or something? Come on, guys. I'm itching to tell you all about the promo code we have with Underdog Fantasy. Just need one troll in the chat to ask. That's all we need. Okay, so Hawkinson goes to the 701. Good for us when we have Mark Andrews. I would have taken Hawkinson if he fell, but who probably need to take wide receiver here, depending on what we're looking at. Tajay coming out says, I finally caught you live. If you do another puppy draft, I'll try to draft with you. Thank you, my man, for coming out to the stream. We will try to get another one go. This is our, what, third or fourth? Is this our third or fourth draft? How long have we been live? We've been live for closing on 2 hours. Okay, so it's definitely our third. It's our third. We'll see how we're feeling. Let's Treylon Burks at the 704. Great value on Treylon Burks. Caden says, do you care about the finals? I'll watch it. I'll probably be writing our draft guide as I watch it. But it's nice because like my computer setup, I have like multiple monitors. So I'm able to put up like the NBA finals on like a small little screen. And then I'm able to do research and write the draft guide whenever we're not doing that. And probably be in a draft at the same time, if we're going to be honest. Like once we end this live stream during the NBA finals, if you're hopping into puppy drafts, you'll probably see me there. Okay, so 5 picks away. Tom Brady at the 707. There's a lot of value on the board right now. Doc goes A.J. Dillon. I would have really liked having A.J. Dillon make it to us. If we had A.J. Dillon falling to pick 84, that would have been exciting. ADP of 75. He has yet to go with a quarterback or a tight end. Brandon Ayuk goes to the 709. Clyde Edwards-Helaire off the board. See where Ray go takes this. He has Waddle, Juju, Cooks, a wide receiver. He has some solid running backs. I don't know if you would go Sanders. I feel like if you go Sanders and you have Najee Harris, Dalvin Cook, David Montgomery, Miles Sanders, do you think that's a hyper-fragile build? Okay, so we're going to take Dak Prescott definitely. The thing is, do we want wide receiver or Miles Sanders? We'll just go ahead and or do we go Dallas Goedert? If we take Goddard, we would get the Jalen Hurts stack. Also, if you look at the draft room and the teams that have drafted 2 tight ends, so never mind. Miles Sanders is a part of the Philadelphia Eagles. Maybe we can make the argument, just maybe, that we're building in some correlation through Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders, even though probably not really. But we can try to make that argument, and we'll take Miles Sanders here at the 801. Trey Lance goes directly after. Of course, now that we have Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts, we're really hoping that these quarterbacks come off. And Angelo says, what's a promo code? Oh, have you not heard? Have you not heard the word about around town? Like, there's a hot rumor going around right now that you can hop into real money fantasy football drafts on Underdog Fantasy through the link in the description or the link in the live chat or the link in the comment section. This is just a rumor. And if you use this promo code FLOCK, I think they spell it out for you right there, You will get our 2022 rankings literally with the $10 deposit. You will get your deposit match up to $100. You will get our 2022 Dynasty Rookie Draft Guide. I think you may also get our 2022 Dynasty rankings. You probably will have a lot of fun, but those are just rumors. Just rumors, okay? Circulating around. Caden says too good to be true. That's why I'm saying they're rumors, because like I've been told that they are facts, but it is too good to be true. So I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true. If someone wants to test it out and get back to me in the live chat and let me know, I'm all ears. I'd love to hear if it works. Kyle says, wouldn't drafting Hurts and Miles Sanders be counterproductive, as Jalen Hurts is mainly being drafted for his rushing upside and taking rushes away from Miles Sanders? 100%. That's why I was saying maybe we could try to make an argument that we are building in correlation here. And in reality, we probably wouldn't. It's not necessarily Jalen Hurts taking away rushing attempts from Miles Sanders. It's more like those mobile quarterbacks don't necessarily have the same check down rate that you're going to see from those pocket passing options. And on top of that, you'd be worried about Jalen Hurts having the rushing touchdowns at the goal line. You're not necessarily worried about Jalen Hurts and his raw amount of rushing attempts. You're worried about, if you draft both of those players eating into each other's upside, about Jalen Hurts vulturing him at the goal line. Okay. The Polo says Dallas Goedert and Miles Sanders was the play. Honestly, I do not agree with you whatsoever. I think we get Dak Prescott there. Dak Prescott does have top 5 upside week-to-week basis. We have CeeDee Lamb, and then we're going to be able to get a tight end at a decent value later on. And when we have Mark Andrews, I'm fine bringing Cole Kmet in as our tight end 2 and only drafting 2 of those guys. Okay, so Aaron Rodgers goes at the 901. Dallas Goedert ended up making it to pick 92. Okay, so here, personally, the only positions we can look at. Actually, I guess we can look at tight end. We just can't look at running back. These are the 3 we can look at, which I love the fact that Underdog allows you to do this. You're like, oh, well, I don't need a running back anymore. That's all we have. I will say it's probably best to have all these pulled up so you have an idea of how the draft is going to go. You're like, okay, well, yeah, we know someone's probably going to take this last quarterback here. Deshaun Watson at the 904. Interesting. 20 picks before his ADP. It's a team that has Amari and has Kareem Hunt. Probably rather just wait. Tony Pollard goes to the 905. Singletary as well. Good thing we got Miles Sanders. If these running backs continue to go. Kenneth Walker, the 907. Okay, so we have a little bit of a running back run happening. Chris Olave at pick 104. This team has Kyler. I'd imagine they go Zach Ertz. It would be good for us if they go Zach Ertz, but also probably good for them when they have Kyler Murray and no tight end. I wonder if Ray go. Yeah, no, he goes Derek Carr. I was going to say, I wonder if Ray go takes Derek Carr. Kadarius Toney off the board. Edmonds is gone. You know what? No, we're not going to go back-to-back running back. We will go ahead and take Garrett Wilson. Spam the chat. Do y'all want James Cook or Melvin Gordon? Just spam the chat. James Cook, Melvin Gordon, up to y'all. Jacob Blue says, how's my team, Mason? I'll be happy to look at that in just 1 second, my man. But please, spam the chat if y'all have not done. Sorry. Let me know what running back y'all want here, and we will take them. So far, we have Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, a quarterback, running back, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, Garrett Wilson, tight end, Mark Andrews. Okay, so Gordon, Cook, Gordon. GA out of left field says Boyd. Hell no, we're not going Boyd. Gordon again. Okay, so we have a couple votes for Gordon. We are going to go ahead and take Melvin Gordon as our third running. I love Melvin Gordon this year. Like, I just got done writing his chapter in the draft guide as well. Like, let me pull this up. If you look at the statistics, like just on a per game basis for both Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, they're going to be a little bit skewed, but we have to remember that one game Melvin Gordon missed. That game that Melvin Gordon missed, Javonte Williams popped off. And I want to give Javonte Williams his due credit. Javonte Williams is the more talented running back. Javonte Williams, we were screaming to draft him in the 5th, 6th round last year. I thought he would have taken over to be that bell cow running back. I thought it was going to happen. We were wrong. They bring Melvin Gordon back as well. Now, if you look at Melvin Gordon versus Javonte Williams and you take out that 1 week where Javonte Williams was able to go ham, let me bring up that stat line because it was ridiculous. I think we already talk about this in this live stream? I have no idea. I mean, I feel like we've been streaming for God knows how long now. Okay. Okay, do. Okay, so Javonte Williams in that one game with no Melvin Gordon had 23 carries, 9 targets, and 178 total yards. He's a man. He's legit. But if we remove that 1 week where Melvin Gordon did not play, and we only look at the weeks where both Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams played, Melvin Gordon averaged 13 rushing attempts per game compared to Javonte Williams at 11.5. Melvin Gordon averaged 57 rushing yards per game compared to Javonte at 50. Now, if I have to predict who leads this backfield in touches this upcoming season, easily Javonte Williams. Easily. Not even thinking about it. But we're drafting Melvin Gordon in the 10th round. Javonte Williams goes at the 2-3 turn. Are we sure that's right? Are we sure that is how it's supposed to be? Nick says, Mason, I'd love to stick around, but I got to head to work. Thanks for a great Sunday. No, thank you, my man, for stopping by. Thank you so much for hanging out in the live stream. I appreciate it. Okay, so Kirk Cousins goes at pick 118. And I'm dying here, guys. I'm sorry. We're probably not going to get another draft. I don't even know if I can make it through this one. Like, y'all can tell, I've been saying the same sentence over and over again with the same little voice go, oh, he goes, yeah. Like, it's in my mind. It's killing me. It's killing me. We have the same cadence with everything we say at this point just because I'm mentally drained. I recorded 2 videos today. Drafted 3 teams on the live stream. We're probably going to make our picks here at the 11-12 turn and then head out. But good news for everyone. We'll be getting in more drafts tomorrow. So if you were unable to get into one of these, we will get another one going tomorrow. Let's pull this up. Good thing we took at least one wide receiver there because I think the better players on the way back around are going to end up being running backs. I think we also only have to draft 5 RBs if we want, depending on the value. I am a sucker for drafting 6 running backs. Okay, Gesicki goes to the 1103. Okay, hopefully we get some more quarterbacks off the board. I mean, nobody's close here in ADP, but you have Birdman with only 1, Harry Gator with 1, Doc with 0, and Rago with 0. Rago obviously knows I can't take one here on the turn, so I would be very surprised if they take a quarterback at 131. If they did, they just wouldn't be paying attention because they could get that same quarterback at 134. Okay, so Jameson Williams goes to the 1105. Tajay says, what time do you usually start streaming? Oh, my man. All over the place. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to give an exact time. Usually I try to wait as long as I can. I try to wait until it's at night, at least on the weekdays. But usually I have to throw in the towel and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it's only 3 p.m. Eastern, but I really want to start this live stream. Let's get it going. So I would say just hit the bell next to the subscribe button if you want to know when we're live. Okay, so Ramondre Stevenson goes to pick 127. Rashad Penny, always running back falling according to ADP. I have no idea how his ADP is at 117. I feel like maybe there's a Rashad Penny fan club, or Rashad Penny's mom maybe plays on Underdog, and every time she has the 101, she takes Rashad Penny at the first overall pick, and that drives his ADP up to 117 because I never see him go there. Okay, and I did tell Jacob we would look at his team. So let me make these 2 picks and we'll go back and we'll look at the overall draft board and we'll look at his team. Okay, so Tim Patrick at the 1109. Okay, Rago needs a quarterback, but like I said, I don't think they would have to go Tua Tagovailoa here because they know we can't. What do they do? They went 2-0. Okay, so they just weren't paying attention to what we have on our board. I actually kind of want to mix it up. I kind of want to go with a wide receiver and a running back. Let's go Devontae Parker and Ronald Jones. Okay, let me look at this overall draft. We told Jay Blue we'd check this team out, and I honestly want to check this team out because it was a very unique start with Kelsey, Evans, Pitts through the first 3 rounds. Mahomes at a value to stack with Travis Kelsey. Breece Hall at a value as your anchor running back here at pick 55. Drake London at 66. Obviously, at this point, you are desperate for wide receivers. Brady goes at pick 79. I know you're stacking with Evans. I feel like when you go bully tight end and you get Mahomes in the fourth, it's going to be very difficult to take Brady here. And also, if we look at the composition of this team, you're relying on Breece Hall, Drake London, Sky Moore, Kenneth Walker, Christian Watson. Really, your only skill positional players are rookies. Obviously, they have the ceiling at the end of the year, but you're just not going to have enough production to go around at the beginning part of the season. So I really like the start. Like, I loved it through the first 6 rounds. I just think you have to make a pivot when you go bully tight end and you grab an elite quarterback in Mahomes, knowing that you have to wait on your second quarterback. And while I love the values you got these rookies at, like I'm taking Kenneth Walker at pick 103 every single time. I'm taking Breece Hall at pick 55 every single time. I love Christian Watson at pick 114. I agree that they were great values. It feels like at some point you have to stop drafting those RBs. Drafting those rookies. Okay, but I'll finish this draft off the live stream. If anybody else is in it, you can see how the draft room goes. But thank you again, of course, everybody, for coming out. I am just tired. My voice is killing me. I have a headache. I appreciate you, though. I hope you have a great day. If you want to have some fun, get into drafts with us on Underdog Fantasy. We'll be doing this tomorrow. We'll be doing this the next day. We do this every single day. We'll do it every single day until the season kicks off. Make sure you go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK. Link in the description. Link in the comment section. I think that's all I got for you. I appreciate you and hope you have a great day.